Okay, we should be live on, let me see here, X. We are live on YouTube. Facebook would not connect. That's all right. We don't really like those anyway, but we do try. We should be live on free conference call. We should be live or appear to be live on Telegram. Blog Talk Radio appears to be live. And part of the reason why we're not worried about that the live stream platform connected to Facebook is Facebook was down. Facebook and Instagram was down. I think it was Tuesday, if I remember correctly. And it was down for hours. So someone successfully hacked them. There's a good possibility it may have been white hat superbots, as Q the Storm Rider would call them. And I mean, obviously they're back up now, but we weren't able to connect. So no biggie for us. Planet changes, game changes, world changes, known as the 144K. Welcome, dearly beloved. This is your loving servant, the unknown light warrior, welcoming you to the peak and culmination of a rather unpleasant period of time of the year, what they call, the dark ones call the holiest of holies, Halloween night. And at the same time, the new moon. So they've got double the reason to ritualize and walk around in circles. And we got double the reason to counter it, transmute it all to the complete opposite of what they were desperately hoping for. We are the, I guess you would say, more hidden, undercover, physical, surface, civilian faction of the light forces, having discovered one of the ultimate secrets of the energetic phenomena that appears to be indistinguishable from magic, that is consciousness projection from the physical to the non-physical, even within the same densities of the physical plane, where we truly know how to access, utilize, and actualize literal God powers, to use a broad generic term, to literally transform a world. And yes, we can only do so much per 144K intervention. Otherwise, the detox will be way too much for humanity, including us, if we were to send all at once. So another critical mammoth occasion as we, steel ourselves into detachment, ironically. We will change this world, we will free all that is, being such a nexus nerve spot of all that is, by liberating this particular planet, at this point seemingly the single biggest nexus point of the multiverse. It just doesn't get any bigger than this, literally. As the proud. Notice how I didn't say pride, but proud 144K special ops. Repairs for our what has now become reliable timeline upgrade. As we are pretty much fully in the light age now. As of barely a few months ago, we were in the dark age. We are now in the light age. And congratulations to the 144K for playing its critical role, ensuring we arrive. All of humanity safely arrives to the light age without all of humanity having to use the euphemism, drop its physical body. So let's just begin to unite by starting everything, I guess, for the first few minutes with the very traditional form of mass meditation, which is bringing ourselves, all of us, to stillness and centeredness, and breathe, or begin to breathe deeply and slowly through your nose, evenly but deeply, very important. And let me just call on the amalgam. So it's a good idea to see a little white disc, in other words, a ship, way up above. Seeing two little sparkling little balls of light, very bright sparkling balls of light, come from underneath this disc and zooming straight down to about 2 feet above your head and 2 feet below your feet. And from each of those two portals, really, comes a layer of protection covering your auric, oval-shaped auric membrane, giving you protection. Feel free to visualize that as you continue to still and center yourself. So this new moon period, what it means is it is the, you could say, commencement of what appears to be the last and final transition phase of the physical and surface level liberation process of this planet. That'll occur in a no holds barred, in your face kind of way that no one, even the most asleep, won't be able to ignore over the next 3 to 4 months. And we need to raise the timelines to a more smooth one, as always, a far better one, a far quicker one. where there's even more exposure, but humanity will be able to actually receive that exposure without the freakouts, maybe some rage, but that's about it. That makes a huge difference because that'll help unite humanity, not just amplify the mass awakening even more. It'll help have a unifying effect for at least 90% of the population minimum. And that's what we want. That's the timeline we need to get to. And again, this new moon phase, the next 2 weeks, marks the final heralding, the final commencement of the final transition period into planetary liberation on the physical surface. So as you continue to breathe deep, know that as far as astrology is concerned, there is the Scorpio factor, very prominent, with Jupiter and Saturn in retrograde, which means, well, as all retrogrades are, or mean, things, well, not just of the past, but things that are covered up or obscured or not known or seen or discovered are found, discovered, sorted. And the Scorpio factor means going deep into the secrets, deep into the mysteries, to find them, uncover them, transmute them for freedom. And then on the 15th, so pretty much towards the end of this new moon period, Saturn goes direct and we march forward. There is also Uranus at play, which supports the unearthing of the deepest, sometimes darkest, hidden stuff, hidden mysteries and secrets. So Uranus and Scorpio go well together. And being the savvy bunch that we are, the 144K will utilize that to the fullest. In the same way that the Jesuits et al. Are certainly trying their hardest for as well. Busy walking around in circles in their cloaks around an upside down pentagram as I speak. That's the kind of charming characters they are. Thank God for the 144K that doesn't shy away from such things, knows how to call in the biggest, most powerful higher dimensionals and even way past that, and therefore does not tolerate garbage. And be proud of that, of being part of such a group. Big time. Because your contribution by being right here, right now, to humanity, to Gaia and Goddess is profound, planet-changing, game-changing. Sorry to use the old cliches, but it is what it is. Any new members here? Welcome. Well, this may sound a little grandiose, but You got to experience a 144K mass meditation for yourself to really get it. So the astrology is in our favor to really go deep and find, unlock, and clear, those last and final and deepest hidden mysteries, secrets that keeps us stuck on the physical plane, not as opposed to happily traveling about in whatever anti-gravity craft or ship of your choice, wherever you want. As you continue to bring yourself into that sacred state and place of centeredness, stillness, detachment, or some of our left hemisphere brains need to hear the word as if you don't care, to allow that psychic flow as you continue to breathe deeply and slowly through your nose. Very important, not through your mouth. The importance of that can fill a whole webinar. As you continue to finish your favorite beverage. God knows I needed mine this morning. As us here in the Pacific and Mountain Time, even Midwest time, it was a very early get up, like 3 a.m. for me. So thank God for Goddess Coffee, as always. You and I are here to dig deep into the deepest mysteries, the last of the deepest secrets, so-called, to clear, transform, transmute into, the final liberating factor, for lack of a better term, transforming it out of its current, block, ball around our chain and ball around our ankle, or whatever metaphor you like, as we are on standby, as we start to move into the correct and aligned time space of moving into action. Now, for those of you who consciously work with guides, go ahead and call them in now. Now, for those of you, I know there's at least a couple of you that were in the military. And at least one 144K member who was in the filming industry. You know that there's a lot of hurry up and wait kind of processes, I guess you could say. And this is not an exception. Again, for those of you who are new, we don't do traditional mass meditations and call it a day. Because with all due respect to other mass meditation groups, that only goes so far. We have an operational approach to planetary liberation. As you continue to breathe deep, I beg your pardon. And focus on your breath if you don't have guides or conscious of them. And now begin to tune into your heart or center yourself there. As the right moment is arriving in process. There often needs to be a full exposure of whatever it is that they're summoning, invoking. As we're still, roughly half an hour away from the peak of the new moon, where they're probably just racing around in circles even faster. And on the other side of the new moon maximum, we enter the 1111 or connect with the 1111 energetic event and portal, which is sort of the culminating aspect of this November transition period into the final planetary liberation phase. All you veterans know that things work in phases and cycles. They're simply like with astrology, the higher octave aspect of a given phase or a lower octave aspect of a given phase. And let's just say you don't want to know about the lower octave aspect of a given phase or cycle of time, because let's just say if you've been having sleepless nights leading up to Halloween night, you ain't seen nothing yet when it comes to the lower octave possibilities of cycles, phases of time, windows of time, and astrology. And let's not at all rest on our laurels, assuming, because it is an assumption, that the quote unquote white hats have it all. Because it simply just doesn't work that way. As you bring yourself into deeper and more centeredness, stillness, detachment, critical protocol there that we all follow like the disciplined army and operatives that we are, because we respect our true identity and honor it, the so-called higher self. I'm just going to mute for a couple of minutes to tune into something important. Stand by. So if you need to go to the bathroom, make sure you're 100% ready before we truly go up beyond the multiverse to access real new levels of power to do a lot more than just transform the so-called quantum field. This is way above and beyond all of that. Remember to breathe deeply and slowly through your nose. Absolutely critical. And let go. The intent has been set. For full, unconditional, planetary liberation. In a safe, harmonious way without half the population having to, quote unquote, drop its physical body. Okay, sorry it's taken me some time to unmute 5 different platforms, but that takes time. Let's transform a world and our lives together. See yourself in a gigantic, translucent, silver crystal ball. Time to step out of the matrix. See yourself, whether it's your physical aspect or your non-physical aspect. Perhaps as a golden light body. You know, whatever. You're the god or goddess, you decide. Consciousness is king. We fully utilize that fact. See yourself along the inside of the equator of the gigantic crystal ball with all the other golden light bodies of all the other 144K brethren of yours, blowing our cover, swinging into action with all the legitimacy and realness of any galactic force. Forming that sacred ring of focused, concentrated, galvanized, cohesive, organized, unfiltered power. That's the way the 144K rolls. As I say here in America. Let's call in Gaia, the sacred one. Authentic Gaia, we call upon the one true authentic goddess Gaia. Connect with us now. Feel her. Or allow yourself to feel her. Believe that you can if you're the non-sensitive, so-called non-energy worker type. Well, at the incarnational level anyway. Imagine what she would feel like if you could feel her presence, and voila, you're connected. Okay. So see Gaia in her physical aspect in the middle of this golden dotted ring, right in the center of this gigantic crystal ball. See her beautiful polar ice caps, clouds over the blue oceans, etc. And now we start to move up through the layers of this universe. Kind of like zooming up in a super fast glass elevator, if you will. And that calming, therapeutic flickering of light as we zoom through the layers of this universe. At incredible speeds. And as always, the less you try, the easier it is, the more instantaneous the image appears. And it does not have to be vivid, faint imagery, as it is for professional remote viewers, is often, is just as good and often more accurate. And say to your higher aspects, and your guides, literally, I'm willing to go beyond what I know. That's how you unlock the key to freedom. As we're about to break through that last thick outer boundary of this universe, to rise above the multiverse. If you're new and you want to literally change a matrix back to its divine state, you're definitely in the right place at the right time. Big time. As you take that last glance at Gaia in the middle. And everything goes bright white all of a sudden as we reach and push through that last thick outer boundary of this universe. It's very bright. You can barely see Gaia in the middle. And we're through. We rise above a rather large ball of light. That is the universe that we just left. And it, of course, rapidly turns into a very small ball of light. And we rise above an ocean of other small balls of light, that is the neighboring universes in this portion of the multiverse. And then all of that turns into small balls of light, a little hazier, if you will, as we rise above an ocean of multiverses. It's a classic case of the higher up you go, the more power you access. such is the rather unique situation here on this sacred, hallowed space or planet. And all of that disappears as well beneath us. Maintain that relaxed, non-trying, instantaneous visual on Gaia primarily. Have your guides, if you have them, somewhere in the background of your consciousness as I finish up with the protocols to see and create the proper of the needed energetic conditions, especially safety, to really look way outside the matrix. Authentic heart, I call upon the one true authentic light beings, the Hod. Please make sure we go to you and no one else, true Hod. Okay, shift your glance upward from Gaia through the roof of the crystal ball. You now see a very tiny, little, extremely distant point of white light, almost like a star. Getting bigger and bigger and brighter, beginning to light up the whole roof of the crystal ball. Again, if you're new, allow your current level of consciousness to be stretched beyond its current borders, because that's a journey we all need to take anyway if you want freedom anytime soon. And we finally reach it. We come to a sudden, yet somehow gentle stop. We gently, gracefully move through this thick platform of light, kind of like going through a decompression process in the process. As we rise above. Again, if you're new, don't worry, you don't need to see things clearly. It's more about receiving and presence and non-trying. It closes at the bottom, opens up at the top. we now form a straight single line of unity behind and above Gaia. The crystal ball peels evenly from the top center, nice and slowly, all the way down. And if you're new, it's okay to be yawning away because you're getting pumped full of extreme high frequency light, among other things. And now look and establish your own connection with these managers of multiverses. So that we do that standard 144K process of the equivalent of 100 mass meditations into one. Otherwise, planetary liberation is as good as taking forever. For those of you not aware, we're already on the fast track to planetary liberation, all things considered. At least for the timeline, that doesn't require us to drop our physical bodies in a rather unpleasant way. Now let's just quickly see and feel their unique energy signature before we get the show on the road. Well, we already have, but anyway, you get the point. And use their energy because just being with them clears your field. Use their energy to, well, let's just say being this high up with them really does bring you to an even deeper level of stillness, centeredness, detachment, and therefore command over this universe, even let alone this planet. Authentic God, please send us a massive wave of your energy so we can truly feel you to an undeniable, unmistakable physical level. And pay a little bit of attention to the center of your head initially, where well, for most of us, our higher sensory receptors are. and feel what they feel like. This really helps you in every sense of the word, let alone helps you perform and shine and actualize your unique, pre-assigned, extremely real soul task, soul assignment. Authentic God, please send us a massive wave of your energy to our hearts. Let's get that truly centered upgrade actualized and have a little bit of background attention on the center of your chest or your heart, while 80% of your focus and attention is on these very translucent light beings that are managers of the multiverse. And let go, go beyond. Detach, never try. The image is already there. Just pay attention to it. Okay, wonderful. It's very important to come, well, at least ensure that your heart space is the one running the show. It doesn't always appear or feel overt. Such is the background, pervasive nature of the heart. And goddess, for that matter. The heart being divine feminine in nature. Alrighty. Put a little background attention on your guides if you like. While I quickly call in the rest of the teams, I call upon the infinite army of the authentic amalgam of the Oberon lineage. I call upon the elders of the amalgam. I call upon the team of beings that created this universe and the very unique phenomena and creation unique to this multiverse known as the physical plane, where we were always meant to project our consciousness from as part of the overall billions of years old campaign to corral the dark back to the light. That presents itself as a man. You can see him as a giant golden beam of light, and position him wherever it suits you. Okay, repeat after me, everybody. I call upon the entirety of my soul see that little point of white light, like a star, just up above the heart, if that's what works for you. Repeat after me. I call upon my authentic oversoul. I call upon my authentic I am presence. And see your oversoul and I am. As bigger balls of light in whatever color you choose to differentiate visually behind your soul. Authentic legion of light. Here is Gaia. Here is the 144K. Can you please take us to the space and place, the frequency realm of omnipresence? Take that last glance at Gaia and the general panoramic view, and all of a sudden there is a bright flash of light as we are transported to omnipresence extremely deliberately. It's so bright, you really have to squint your energetic eyes. Because really we're traveling, to say the least. And the bright light disappears. Everything looks the same. or so it seems. Authentic, so just maintain vision if you're new, and enjoy in a light-hearted sense of the word. Authentic Legion of Light, it is November 1st, 2024, as we are now in the midst of a junction Scorpio new moon, culmination point of the dark, holiest of holies. Please work through our consciousness, our conscious participation. Connecting the physical deep density of this physical plane, of this nexus planet, with you and all that is for that matter, to bring in that transformative, mass transmutational light from the inside out, through us, through our fields, through our personal grids, via our consciousness. We request the fully maximized utilization of the profound, planet-changing, world-changing, life-changing discoveries that the Uranus Scorpio factor of the existing astrological configuration offers. The door that it offers. To find, work through the deepest of all mysteries as it relates to this planet, its history, its purpose, its incomprehensible divine potential and hidden purpose to transform all that is. Please proceed by briefly shutting down the dark portals, dark vortexes. Physical dark ones have opened up through various heinous means. And of course, those of you who know all about the child trafficking and what they do during rituals, you know what I mean. Okay, they're asking for us to place Gaia into a white quarantine sphere because Throughout November especially, it is the last final gasp of all physical and non-physical darkness, what's left of it, which is now retreated back to the surface physical plane, the final and last central battleground, I guess, throughout the multiverse. You can see Gaia in a holographic form, if that works for you. We are surrounded by the teams. Always allow yourself to receive the visuals, the imagery that's already there. So there's a lot up. Let's just briefly, for only about 10 minutes, turn, visualize anything dark, whether it's dark grey as it often appears, often amorphous, or black, in amongst the pale or white background of the quarantine sphere, and turn it white, watch it disappear. Just do that a couple of times to remove what's on the surface, I guess, what the dark ones are already invoking. To complete this massive 144K intervention, to get onto that amazing, still intense, but far more inspirational, exciting and smoother timeline that this Scorpio Uranus configuration and its divine intent is actualized by this tip of the spear known as the 144K. And no, I'm not big noting ourselves, it just is what it is. Truth doesn't care about opinion or reaction. Truth doesn't work that way. Truth shall set you free if you're willing and ready. Welcome to the 144K. So, any black, dark, garbage through your holographic view of all densities and planes, spaces in between, down to the quantum and subquantum level of all of all densities. That's the beauty of working at this level and setting the stage right. Again, a lot of it's just amorphous, dark consciousness. Sometimes it has form, sometimes it doesn't, sometimes it appears as a smoky thing. Other times it appears as a little creepy crawly. Other times it appears as kind of like a line or a squiggly thing. If it's the size of an atom or a quantum particle, or even smaller than that at whatever frequency or density, your mind's eye will show it as visually big enough for the rational mind to make something of it. Just make sure you turn it white. So let's just do this rapid fire. Courtesy of this incomprehensible level of power above all that is that we consciously work with through conscious connection. Don't forget to feel your soul, its immortality, in other words, your true identity. Feel it occasionally here and there within your heart. I see North America looking nice and black. Let's transmute that garbage and, as best you can, sort of be zoomed out, visually speaking, to see at least two of the senior levels of light, whether it's two of the hot or your I am at a minimum, as always. And well, this is telling. There's some sort of an animal growling, literally, outside this room on the front yard. All of a sudden. Never happened before. Transmute for another couple of minutes. And stick with it though. See where the transmutation of turning dark into light and then watching it disappear. So where it leads to. Kind of, for lack of a better term, lose yourself in a detached, non-trying way with the imagery. To see it at a minimum, like I said, at least two of senior levels of light on the far side, in the background, Gaia in the foreground. And it's normal if it takes you a good while to sort of really get into it, so to speak. That's normal because it is an extremely rough realm here on the physical surface of this particular density. That's why detachment and stillness is so important, and being and going within. within, along with unlimited consciousness, is kind of like the ultimate portal to all that is. And thus channel overwhelming amounts of high dimensional and beyond multiversal light through you. All right, there's a lot coming through North America, which is good in one way, because it is the finalizing processes, for lack of a better term, of the freedom key of this planet, which is America, to fulfill its divine purpose and actualize freedom for the whole planet. And have a go at seeing that holographic single image in whatever color of your choice of Gaia, representing omnipresence, just from an omnipresent point of view. A little energetic secret there when you're working with senior, and I mean real senior levels of light that work from beyond duality, by the way. Okay, interesting. Well, that one's surprising, I suppose. So there's all sorts of, I don't know, vortexes, portals that connect through, I don't know, wormholes, lines, whatever, deep into Gaia, deeply hidden frequencies and realms throughout the internal aspect of Gaia, connecting to, well, typically they're spheres or various forms and kinds and types of temporal bubbles for you Corey Good fans. And not for the first time, the 144K is in the right time, at the right place, at the culmination point of full exposure of the dark. To find it, access it, transmute it. This filth off of the sacred temple and body of Goddess, the 144K has zero tolerance policy to any form or kind of desecration of anything Goddess. The ultimate power. The power that makes everything worthwhile. The power that drives the wind through the trees, that provides everything with its divine and natural luster and beauty, making all that is worthwhile. Pretty far from just one end of one polarity. As always, that's for a whole other webinar. Our off-world brethren know exactly what I mean. Okay, so they've kicked up a ton of very unpleasant things. Let's just systematically transmute their exposure using the full potential of this astrological configuration. That's very Scorpio-centric. Scorpio is all about deep mysteries and secrets. And I'll just finish off for now. By saying, well, I'll just spit it out. There's good reason why there's tens of thousands of children locked up in warehouses throughout several states in the US, brought in through the southern, trafficked through the southern border. So the worse, and just know that the worse and the more hellish something is, it holds within it the opportunity to transmute it to the exact opposite. The more, let's just say, extreme something is, the potential is there to turn it to its exact extreme divine opposite. Well, for anyone who's at the right time, at the right place, knowing what they're doing, thank God for the 144K. Stick with it. Transmute like your life depends on it. Because of a lot of people's lives literally does, ironically, with detached ease and grace. Transmute. Just for a few more minutes, because there's a lot more here than expected. And then we'll be finishing up with that quote unquote magical final touch. So really do use all of this as this exposure as access to transmute this heavy, dense garbage that would never let us ascend. I just felt the Gaia there. After clearing, well, from far away, it'll just look like dark grey haze. You don't have to see details or understand details or work it all out. It doesn't work that way when you're operating from omnipresence in conjunction with your soul and I am presence. It's a lot more, graceful, for lack of a better term, and quicker when working from this high up with such incomprehensible levels of power. It's actualized as much as your level of consciousness can open up to. That is the only limiting factor. I know that sounds trite, but it is what it is. To be frank, it's a science. Beliefs, levels of consciousness are nothing more than mental body programs that either allow or don't allow. Clear as your way of expressing love through your heart, which is an energetic form of putting your money where your mouth is and not just talking the talk. The 144K has no tolerance for that. We do and truly express. Remember to zoom out your field of vision as required. And always play around with the background holographic colors to be able to contrast your white transmutational light. I need to be quiet for a few minutes. Stick with it. To consolidate and finalize planetary liberation final phase. Yeah, they've really gone for it on this Halloween. So even though they've had a lot less to draw on or invoke, their state of panic and I'll just say the suffering of several thousand innocents has still brought up a lot of stuff, called in, invoked a lot of stuff. Let's bring them back to the light in that graceful divine way. If you're a goddess, if you're a stereotypical Arcturian male, you can kick the living crap out of them and watch them dissolve into light and disappear. Stick with it. Believe me, it's worth it. Those of you not focusing on anything in particular, look up at your soul, literally ask it, fulfill my pre-assigned role and task now. And then look down at the holographic imagery of within the quarantine sphere. Moving and utilize the seemingly unlimited power of the right hemisphere of your brain as far as physical instrumentation is concerned through the ultimate and highest form of consciousness referred to in this back to front matrix as imagination. Let it rip. Again, the biggest, deepest, and most accurate things that you find and transmute are typically faint and very brief images. Just make sure you seize on whatever it is that you see, even if it is faint. Turn it white. And therefore ascend. This is how you actualize ascension without any risk of having to drop your physical body. Remember to ask your soul to show you, guide you into doing the thing that you're here to do, preordained, pre-assigned to do at the right time. And then just do it without trying. As always, it's a matter of holding that visual focus for a few more seconds to complete any given transmutation, which always creates and actualizes a so-called quantum jump upward. Good, I felt more of Gaia there. So if what you see is faint-looking spheres, as is often the case, that's still a lot. That's still breakthrough. Make sure you turn them white and watch them disappear. Systematically, in a divine sense of the word, the 144K is like a machine that doesn't stop until unconditional freedom and galactic reintegration is actualized down to this level, physical plane, third density. Fulfill your soul purpose. So that your existence here and all its struggles is not a waste. Obviously, we don't mince our words here at 144K. Okay. Once again, unsurprisingly, I guess, if you're a goddess and you're not doing anything in particular right now, we need to strengthen the goddess vortex that runs through Syria, through the center of that divine feminine pentagram. because there's lots of unsavory physical characters on the physical surface in that area. It's almost like a Mad Max kind of situation throughout most parts of Syria. So just start with the core of Gaia, where the vortex begins, bring unconditional, very dissolving, because it is at the core of transmutational light, very dissolving and pervasive, graceful goddess energy by, I suppose, galvanizing, if you will, and strengthening, not quite rebuilding, the vortex coming through the core of Gaia towards the surface. You know, it's typically rainbow colored, as it always. From far away, it'll just look like a thin, straight line through into Syria, which is east of Lebanon, southeast of Turkey. Your high mind knows, just watch. And then bring that light through the surface, helping to dissolve the underlying energetic fundamentals of the matrix in that region. Just to ensure it doesn't escalate much further. Okay, we're really getting into the final deep, dark, deepest mystery, hidden secrets, aspects of this new moon and Scorpio potential, I guess, that we're actualizing fully. Otherwise, it would all come up and bite all of us and the surface humanity on the physical without doing this preemptively. Remember to take that occasional glance up at your soul and over soul and I am, if you prefer. And as we begin to finish up, just remember to, it almost feels like you're floating around with your consciousness when you really detach but hold that internal visual. This is very deep. Hidden. Waves of energy that are multi-layered. Like going deep in a lake. Pick your metaphor. Now really feel, for those of you who are not in the middle of anything, really quote unquote imagine in order to actualize this. I'll use the term incomprehensible because verbals is not our natural way of communication, so just run with it. God, there's a lot going on. There's a lot being discovered, a lot being transmuted. It's hard to work and talk at the same time. Again, you can only see or receive and therefore transmute and ascend whatever your current level of consciousness can receive or is ready for or can handle, what have you. That's why stillness and detachment and just allow that internal vision to go wherever is so critical. Otherwise, it's a bit more challenging. Well, a lot more challenging to, I suppose, reach freedom, for lack of a better term. That's always beyond the current boundaries of your level of consciousness. So really detach and really feel the light, the power of your I am and the HOD in particular come through you, through your entire body. And watch. It can happen instantaneously. All right, there was a lot cleared within Gaia. Authentic Legion of Light. All right, those of you not in the middle of anything, repeat after me. Those of you who are in the middle of something per your unique soul task and pre-assigned purpose, stick with it and finish up. Because at last and final purpose, in terms of the fullest potential of this time-space intervention, quite often doesn't materialize until the end that we're fast approaching, because there's so much garbage on top of it. All right, repeat after me. Sorry, there's a lot going on. A lot. Authentic I am presence, authentic soul, authentic heart, and guides. From the space of omnipresence, work through my consciousness and energy field now, and scan and clear
90 seconds.
The entire history and time-space realms of all densities and all reversed matrix realms and systems.
60 seconds.
And clear anything of any shape, form, or kind that is in our way of this 5D existence.
10 seconds.
And now just show them very brief images of, I don't know, 5D images. Pick your favorite 5D images. I'm showing them those floating island type structure, anti-gravity structures that have a kind of like a giant lake and a beach and either a small town or huge house, crystal house floating above, just above the cloud line or amongst the clouds, or cool 5D stuff. Real cool. Just briefly. We've all seen those images. Don't have to show it to them perfectly. It's all can be done in a split second. And step back, watch. Remember to transmute from dark to light and watch it disappear systematically as we finish up. And don't worry if the images are faint. It's actually more of an indicator that you're on the money and going beyond your current level of consciousness and the boundary of the known. The unknown is where the secrets are. The real ascension secrets. The literal ascension secrets. Now let's all go deep together. Deep, 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 deep. In terms of consciousness, you'll want to mostly stay behind or outside the quarantine sphere. Remember to breathe through your nose. Hold that internal visual focus. It's literally transforming this world. All right, good. Now let's finish up by greatly upscaling the frequency of the grids by basically recovering them. Okay. See your iron presence up above Gaia in its visual representative concentrated form. See at least two of the hot in the background. And see the toroidal, loose, stunning, holographic structure of Gaia's toroidal field. So this is physical electromagnetic aspect of Gaia. This is, we haven't done this before actually. It's pretty cool. And God knows the 144K has done some of the most innovative, cutting edge energy interventions. Well, some of the best out there. I can definitely say that. All together, let's draw a very focused, unstoppable beam of light. Real, from far away, it looks like a real thin one. Down through the quarantine sphere, which is in whatever color of your choice. Through the northern portion, I guess, northern half of the, that central internal column of the toroidal field. In it goes and go into the core of Gaia. Visualize Gaia's core in whatever way works for you. Don't worry, it's just as real if you can only see a faint imagery. And see Gaia's core getting several things going on at once. Remember, this is the physical electromagnetic aspect of Gaia's toroidal field. It is just a little bit beyond our visual range, courtesy of genetic manipulation. Thankfully, the consciousness of the 144K is unhindered. That's how you get free. And see the core of Gaia being healed, cleared, in some respects, in terms of divine matrix codes, being reprogrammed, recoded for divine truth, divine reality. All you computer IT technologically inclined, per your soul path, purpose, identity, and talents. This is where you come in a little bit more into the fore. And focus, actually, for the goddess type. Or an extreme old fart like me that's been there and done that for multiple millions of years. See the core of Gaia. Make out sacred geometry, especially sacred macabres, or maybe one single macabre. Form in the core of Gaia. Abstract visualization works just as well, so have at it with that limitless attitude of a child. They're really not going to like this. The physical dark ones, that is. You can think of this as kind of like a control room, which I went into some detail in the previous manifestation files, training webinar, I don't know, a month ago, I think it is now. Now see another, and I'm keeping this simple for those of you who are not seeing anything in particular, per your soul path and purpose, just bear with me. See another macabre within the initial macabre that you just saw within the core of Gaia. So the initial macabre that at least I know half of you have already seen, simply through intent, connected with Father Sun. She can really do with that, believe me. The divine masculine, if you will. Again, which is more of a subordinate servant type role in the divine sense of the word, not just a polar opposite. Now, within that, see another macabre of another color of your choice if it helps. This is a major activation, by the way. Stick with me. This is going to go out with a bang and a dramatic jump in timelines. Now that macabre, within the initial macabre, connected with Alcyon, the central sun of the zodiac, this little neighborhood of the galaxy. Okay, let's clear that little bit of blackness. This is really ascending Gaia and therefore humanity. So some old wounds and hurts will understandably come up because you can't take your baggage with you, end of story. Now within that, another macabre. Of your color, of your choice. Could be magenta, as is often the case. Could be light blue, another goddessy color, or violet, whatever. And you technocrats recode, you may see just walls or halls of code in amongst this now uncovered deeper aspects of Gaia. Turn the codes into divine codes just by intent. We're actually utilizing what is arguably the deepest mysteries that this new moon in Scorpio, the Scorpio factor and Uranus factor, has to offer. We're actually making it happen. And no amount of congratulations can satisfy that fact. Okay, the next macabre. Hold intent or command to connect it to the galactic central sun of this galaxy. This is really going to bring up a lot of light up to the surface. It'll be done slowly initially. So that somewhat proverbial detox, energetic, physical, mental, emotional, otherwise, doesn't overwhelm us. Feel the galactic central sun, quote unquote, pretend. You may have noticed or felt or maybe even heard a sonic sound factor or kind of energy as that happened. So I know some of you will know because you've been at this for decades. Even a simple cube within a cube within a cube is there's a portal or transdimensional aspect to it. Let alone any kind of sacred geometry within the same sacred geometry, you know, Russian doll type stuff. Anything dark, because this hasn't been done for God knows millions of years, really, you know, reactivated. Alrighty. Within the macabre, that third macabre that connects to the galactic central sun. One more. And last one for now, because it's a battle we can handle. One final and last macabre, at least for now, that connects to the cosmic central sun, the central sun of this universe. And that's kind of a, if you saw an initial dirty, dark, hazy macabre, transmute it, turn it white. And it's green. Isn't that beautiful? Color of the heart. It's okay if you saw another color. Through intent, connected fully to the cosmic central sun.
Feel, because your consciousness, when done right, in other words, safely for the most part, is unlimited. You know, if it's time for something to occur. Feel the central sun of this universe. So this is a prerequisite to return into galactic society. Otherwise, we just can't ascend to that frequency. And of course, in turn, this upgrades our energy bodies and DNA and yada, yada, yada. There's just old technologies. It's like 4 little cubes around this final Merkaba that were interfering. So let me just transmute those. Some of you may have seen something else interfering, blocking our ascension, basically. Phase view, that's what you're here for, like it or not. Yeah, they really don't want this to happen. It's pretty phenomenal, and I'm so proud of us for fully utilizing the full potential of the higher aspect divine purpose of Scorpio. I guess sometimes you just have to bash into it. Whatever's blocking. A return to love, freedom. All right, little explosion of goddess energy there and joy. Let me know if you experienced it at around about that point that I verbalized it in the Telegram chat. All righty. Now, time for, I mean, we've already done an insane amount to drastically, radically, revolutionary, actualized, never mind accelerate, planetary liberation. Without any need for physical deaths. All right. Now zoom out, back out to the, it's like we're moving backwards, back out to the galactic central sun Merkaba, usually a different color. And then back out through Alcyon, central, well, it's a central star, pardon me, of our zodiac, our neighborhood here in this portion of the galaxy. All right, it's all happening. And then zoom out again to the Merkaba that connects Gaia with her twin flame. Father Sun, so-called. Zoom out again to the outer Merkaba that is the central heart, I guess, of Gaia. And then see the entirety of Gaia's in-Earth area and see the light. I'll just keep things simple. It's also unconditional love, but also love, well, light of your I am, that initial beam of light that's done the hard work, done the dirty work, so to speak. And see this light go through the bottom half of the central toroidal field column and see it come up through the grids, I guess, of Antarctica, the surface area. Just see it holographically, just see, you know, the usual crisscrossing lines and occasional nexus point and vortex points and what have you. It's traveling throughout the South Pole and then just spreading outwards. See it all light up into the usual goddess rainbow colored crisscrossing lines, vortices, you know, perpendicular vortices. Really lovely. She's really appreciating this. To put things in a very understated way. And now, as that full grid recovery and therefore ascension occurs and spreads outwards towards southern Australia, up through Argentina, Chile, etc. Just allow that to sort of, I don't know, flow through. It's extreme ascension and grid upgrade, so it's not going to be voila kind of thing. It's a little bit of a process because it's big. Return some of your focus back to the center, Gaia's core, and see a similar movement, mostly lines, basically. Come up and outward through Gaia's core. In whatever way works for you. Just see structures, physical and non-physical crystals, you know, outward perpendicular moving versions of surface grid lines is one way to describe it. Ask for guidance from your soul. It's not just there for good looks. You can zoom out. See the teams, watch them doing it with you and through you. This is massive upgrade, greatly accelerated. Actualization at the third density physical level of freaking freedom and a restoration of the natural and divine state and conditions of life, so-called. Move the light. See crystals, see sacred geometry, physical and non-physical, quantum and sub-quantum level, primarily in the 3D and 4D. Light up. We are returning light back. End of story. And have fun. Take that occasional, or just watch what your higher mind's eye is already, and your soul is already delivering to you in terms of visual imagery. Float around, detach, do not try. Let your so-called imagination rip. And see racing bright lines, sparkling goddess light here and there, because obviously there's crystals everywhere, physical and non-physical, quantum and sub-quantum, primarily on the 4th and 3rd density. We're basically bringing in 5D energies down into the 4th and 3rd density. What a mother lode of an upgrade and energetic transformation. It couldn't have and wouldn't have happened without, ironically, I guess, transmuting the garbage that they desperately invoked and pulled through with their physical rituals, primarily in North America, it seems. Outwards we go, take that occasional micro image of, I don't know, rainbow colored darting, racing lines and crystals lighting up and blah, blah, blah. Throughout the core of Gaia, and the surface grids racing up. Towards the equator. Some of you are quite familiar and enamored with the ley lines as being the typical example. Have at it. This is making your soul sing because you're coming through for it. At the incarnational level, you're coming through. From Gaia's perspective, and a lot of trapped soul fragments lost in the external somewhere there. Your current incarnation participating in this physical time-space event. It's kind of like a little lighthouse lighting up all of a sudden. In the allegorical, metaphoric, stormy, it's the end kind of seas, and it all changes. That's what you are to Gaia, and a lot of trapped or lost soul fragments. Many of them within physical bodies, by the way, on the surface population, so bear with me. All right, let's get really goddessy and childlike here. Really light up, sparkles, rainbow-colored lines. Outwards, further from the core, there's more energy. from the might, power, love, purpose of your I am within this universe comes through, reaches the surface, transforming the electromagnetic field, the quantum field, primarily third and fourth density. And because the ultimate dark AI, the most senior godlike AI, is seemingly gone, this will hold now. It'll finally hold, without us having to constantly hold our consciousness on it. That's been quite the issue in the past. That's a whole other story. And just play. Now you'll start to see, I don't know, kind of like bursts of light or columns of light puncturing, or, well, initially reaching the surface area grids. You can use the ley lines as a reference point. And so it's obviously these two mass movements of light, courtesy of our combined, united, I am presence, raw power, our consciousness projection from the physical surface, and the largely reactivated connection to the cosmic central sun. Obviously, a few things going on here. And just see, again, crisscrossing lines, rainbow-coloured lines, sort of racing through and past the equator. So we're still at the northern end of South America, sort of reaching the Central Africa, the Sub-Saharan Africa, and reaching where the majority of the world's population exists, the Northern Hemisphere. And this will really bring about compression breakthrough for you Cobra fans or subscribers. So if you ever have a desire to squeeze 100 mass meditations into one, this is what it looks like. This is what's involved. Needless to say, see the surface very holographically, almost as if it's not there. And just see well, I'll initially focus on North America because they try their hardest to shut down energetically and therefore physically the freedom key of the planet. Light her up. Big time. So that everything that they tried desperately over this Halloween season is completely and fundamentally reversed fully. Just don't forget to really light up the Syrian goddess pentagram and rainbow colored goddess vortex in Syria. Egypt, of course, the Giza pyramids. Well, there's a ton of sacred sites, structures, ley lines that are millions and billions of years old. Racing up through North America, clearing, transmuting, purifying, amplifying divine vortexes, grids, crystals, physical and non-physical, sacred ancient sites, and because of the preliminary work that we did with the nested macabres, it'll hold this time. Enjoy the show as we race back up to the North Pole, moving into Canada, Northern Europe, fully liberating the sacred divine goddess grids in Central Europe, especially Germany and a bit of Western Poland, which, lo and behold, was where they conducted the Holocaust. But isn't that amazing? What a coincidence. I almost swore there. That wouldn't have been very spiritual. Let it rip. Let go of your left hemisphere brain. Allow your right hemisphere brain and your soul through your heart. Actualize this lighting up. Restoration of the grids. Compression breakthrough with ruthless abandon. Because now you can. Moving into past Turkey and Greece, into the Balkans, into the Black Sea, into Ukraine. Some of you may remember, I think it was summer of 2022, dark crystals installed and activated in Kiev, I believe, trying to stop the clearing of the dams. There was a dark ritual carried out by Marina Abramovich and her crap. Take no prisoners. All the way into Northern Europe, converging into Canada, past China, etc. Enjoy the show. Converging at the top. Return that bit of focus of that original white beam of light from your I am. Converging into southern Greenland, Scandinavia, converging and closing at the top. It's all water, obviously, at the North Pole, turning into divine, sacred geometric crystal state at the quantum level, all that water. And we are done. Finish up in whatever way suits you. Okay, I think there was some sort of an explosion of light. Enjoy that last glance of this intervention. That we have actualized. And feel the gratitude. I mean, it's impossible to put this into words. So receive this at the higher energetic level. Feel the gratitude of Goddess. And all that is. And your soul. The light. For truly manifesting the fullest potential that was on offer by this new moon in Scorpio. What the new moon in Scorpio held, offered. We simply took it. If anyone did see a very visceral sense or visual of an explosion of light right at the very end when I mentioned it, let me know in the chat as well. It's okay if you didn't, but more often than not, there's always some or many of you that did, either a little bit before or a little bit after. Yeah, I think I'm getting a visual, not just visual sense of Gaia rising, like this woman, a very faint image of a goddess rising, coming up with a sense of, what's the word, relief. Very hard to verbalize energetics. To say that we've gone a long way in reconnecting Gaia with natural connections of various forms and kinds, with the, I guess, energetic structure of the galaxy and therefore all that is. I guess that was our highest potential of this time-space junction point that held several different potentials, depending on which one we were able to actualize. And it's a safe bet that we reached the highest potential, that we did actualize it. I just, there's always a minority of you that can't feel it. I just wish you could all massively feel this rush of emotions, overwhelming love and gratitude. Yeah, how can you verbalize, how can you comprehend such an event? To appease the rational 3D mind, you know how when you buy a lottery ticket and you can win 5th division, 4th division, 3rd division, 2nd division, 1st division, the where you take the whole lot and you win the lot. We actualized winning 1st division here. I don't know if they use that terminology here in America. We do in Australia. We won 1st division of the lotto. To appease the rational mind and give it that extra reference point. And in case you haven't realized yet, we've now accessed the timeline to the highest accelerated potential that 1111 now offers. Now, the ramifications of which we can go on forever. But it's time to bring this profound experience and reunion, while converging unity of our consciousness and fields and soul purpose and talents, to a close, because I'm tired. And yeah, you can let go if you haven't already. Return fully back into the room that you're in. And receive the love. We're reconnecting. Reinstating, reinstalling, reactivating the infrastructure, organic, divine infrastructure of this planet and us and ourselves. Back to the structures. Vortexes, fields, psychogeometry, what have you, of Gaia, of the rest of all that is, the galaxy. That always had to happen first before we see physical galactic reintegration. Doesn't just happen just because the white hats did this or that. Doesn't work that way. Fundamentally doesn't work that way. Energetics, the non-physical, rules the roost. I probably got that expression wrong. But it's time for this comedian to close the physical broadcast and go lie down. Along with the rest of you, I'm sure. Have a beautiful rest. Again, add your little report, whether it's synchronized with what I verbalized or did not, in the Telegram chat, because my email inbox is a scary monster in and of itself. I got to transmute that one. And well done, everybody. And saying well done is almost insulting in a way. It can't be comprehended what we actualized. Can't be comprehended. Receive the love. Receive my respect and the respect of all that is. And you can walk away with pride, peace of mind. As your heart, as your soul sings in joy. Receive a soul. This is your loving servant, the unknown light warrior, helping you make it happen.